And that's what we see in the hadith, in the statement of Hudhayfa bin al-Yaman, radiyallahu anhu. He said in that famous hadith, حدثنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بحديثين. Allah's Messenger, alayhi salam, he narrated to us two hadiths. And I have seen one of them come true. I have seen one of them come true. And I'm waiting for the other one. As for this one, حدثنا أن الأمانة نزلت في جذر قلوب الرجال. So he, alayhi salam, he informed us that al-amana, this trustworthiness, that it came down and it was instilled into the core of the hearts of the people. This now is before revelation. Before revelation, Allah sent down amana, and it was in the hearts of those who were to become believers. Al-amana. It entered into the core of the hearts of the believers. ثم نزل القرآن. Then the Quran descended. So this shows that without amana, the teachings of the Quran are not really going to take effect or have any root. Without amana, without trustworthiness. فَعَلِمُوا مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ. So then they knew or they learnt from the Quran. وَعَلِمُوا مِنَ السُنَّةِ. And then they learnt and took from the Sunnah. ثُمَّ حَدَثَنَا عَنْ رَفْعِ الْأَمَانَةِ. Then the Messenger of Allah told us about how amana will be raised from the hearts. قال ينام الرجل النوم فَتُقْبَضُ الْأَمَانَةُ مِنْ قَلْبِهِ. Look at the swift way in which al-amana will be taken. A man, he goes to sleep at night, and al-amana is taken from his heart. فَيَظَلُّ أَثَرُهَا مِثْلَ الْوَقْتِ. So when he wakes up the next morning, you find that there is like some effect. There's like a mark and a trace of the effect of that amana being taken away. Right? So you will, meaning that you will start seeing the lack of amana in his behavior and his conduct, like a trace of it, like a trace, a small trace of it at the beginning. Then the man goes to sleep again. ثم ينام النوم فيقبض الأمانة من قلبه فيظل أثرها مثل المجل كجمر دحرجته على رجلك. So he says, the next day, the man goes to sleep, more amana is taken from his heart. The next day he wakes up, and this loss of amana is a bit like, and he gave an example. He said, if you take some coals and you throw them on the foot and they graze the foot like this, and it leaves a blister on the foot, there's a blister, right? And as a blister appears, then in the same way, the amana of that individual will be affected likewise. Then you start seeing that in his conduct and his behavior, that some amana has been lost. So then he says, so this is now Hudhayfa saying, continuing, that then as a result of this process, as the amana is taken from people, people will start engaging in trade, and they will not find anyone who is trustworthy in order to deal with. To such a degree that will be said, Inna fi bani fulan rajulan aminan, right? Meaning that trustworthiness will be lost to such a degree that people will start saying, oh yes, in such and such place there is a trustworthy man by such and such, you can deal with him. Right? So meaning that there will become very, very few people who are actually trustworthy. And another thing that you will see is that people will say about a man, ma ajladahu, ma adhrafahu, ma a'qalahu. Right? People will say, look at this strong man, look at this intelligent man, look at this successful man. They will say all these things, but he is the most untrustworthy person. You will find not an atom's weight of iman in his heart. But he's strong, he's intelligent, he's successful. He's just like you see nowadays. You see on the internet, all of these influencers and successful, so-called successful people who are making money, and they're very strong and they can fight and they're intellectually clever and this and whatever, and marketing and selling themselves, but he is not an atom's weight of iman in his heart. But people are mesmerized just because he's a strong man, he can fight, he's a successful businessman, he's a successful person, And so people are taken by these things. They're not looking at, okay, is this person a believer? Does he have any iman? Is he trustworthy? And this is what will happen. And we see that obviously Hudhayfa is speaking about that in his time. Then he continues and he says, after that, so he says, وَمَا أُبَالِي أَيُّكُمْ بَايَعْتُ لَإِنْ كَانَ مُسْلِمًا ليردنه علي دينه ولئن كان نصرانيا أو يهوديا ليردنه علي ساعيه. He says, look, I care not any one of you whom I trade with. If he's a Muslim, then his religion will return him to me. If he's a Jew or a Christian, then his society will return him to me. This is how it used to be, right? But as for today, then I'm not able to trade with any one of you except so-and-so person and so-and-so person. So he's describing that at one time, whether it's a Muslim, a Jew, or a Christian, if it was a Muslim, any Muslim, you know that if I deal with him, if I trade with him, his religion is going to make him fulfill his trust. And if it's a Jew or a Christian, his society or his people, the pressure from them is going to make them fulfill the trust. But as for today, then I can only deal with so-and-so person and so-and-so person because of the loss of al-amana. So the point being from all of this is, and all of these things are really connected. If you look at, okay, why is the society like it is today? Well, it's because there is no sidq, there is no tawadu', there is no karam, there is no amana. All of these basic traits which are supposed to be the foundational traits of the character of a Muslim, which is supposed to be the character of the Quran, because the Messenger of Allah is the Quran, his khuluq is the Quran, then why do you see the Muslims in the state that they are in the trials and tribulations and it's because the loss of all of these basic qualities and traits. And so concluding this discussion of al-amana is a trust, is what is expected of you, of a duty or a responsibility, of the rights of Allah, or the financial dealings and contracts, or the secrets between people, or in terms of positions and responsibilities. And a person should have this feeling of responsibility and act upon that responsibility. And without that, then obviously the rights and the trusts are betrayed and violated, and this leads to tremendous harm to the individual and also to the society. So this is characteristic, foundational trait number 4. It is al-amana. Number 5, which is very important, is